Claudia Thompson.
And I'm Judy Cassidy. We're with the AMVETS Post 2006 Auxiliary, Leesburg, Florida. And we are proud to sponsor this episode of Central Florida Salute.
Hello and welcome to Central Florida Salute YouTube. I'm here once again at Eagles 4273 in Okahumpka. And we thank them again for their allowing us to be here. My guest today is a Master Sergeant, Chuck Maston, right?
Yes, sir.
I just had the opportunity of meeting Chuck today. You were working with the Leesburg High School, right?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do there?
I am the aerospace science instructor at Leesburg High School.
And we have the Eagles have a bond with the school. We have a lot of your cadets come in here and help out on certain things, and you're going to be here for Memorial Day.
Right.
So
they're a great group of kids.
Yeah, you guys, you and the major do a good job.
Well, you know, we couldn't do it without, excellent cadets. And, they all want to be there. They got great attitudes. I look forward to seeing what they can do in the future.
All right. But we're going to talk about you, what you've done in the past. So where are you from originally? You told me you were a military brat.
I am. Was born in Lafayette, Indiana. Didn't spend a lot of time there. My dad's first assignment when I was young was in Panama. So I spoke Spanish before I spoke English. English is my second language. I had a lazy mother and a Spanish housekeeper. So I learned Spanish first, had to come to the States and learn English. And my dad's stateside assignment after that was Eglin, Fort Walton Beach. So I was young, learned English there, and then traveled around. My parents ended up divorcing. I moved down to Warner Robins, Georgia with my dad. Then followed him to California, Sacramento, Mather, flying B-52s out of there. And then he got orders to Korea. I had to go live for a year with my mother. After that, he went back to Warner Robins, and that's where I joined the Air Force out of there, Warner Robins High School.
You say your dad flew the B-52?
No, he was at the base that flew the B-52s.
Okay.
He was at Mather. He was the editor of the base newspaper, the Wingtips.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it ever comes down this way, you got to give us a call, and we'll get him on Central Florida Salute.
Absolutely. He loves anything to do with public affairs.
But I'm going to talk a little bit about you right now.
Sure.
The fact that you teach there, you have quite an education yourself. You have a BS in marketing from the American Military University,
Mm-hmm.
AAS, Aircraft Armament Systems, AAS Education and Training, instructor in military science, occupational instructor, certification, instructional systems development in Utah State. You got around.
Yes, sir. That's a portion of it. That's not all.
That's not all.
Most people don't realize when I went to join, I didn't want to join to go to college. My dad wanted me to go to college in the worst way. And I did not want to write another English paper. I did not want to take another math class. I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to go to work. And so I enlisted. And the first paper I signed was enlistment. The second one, enrollment in college. Most people don't realize Air Force and now Space Force, if you go, you have to go to college. There's no choice.
Oh, really?
Even our basic training is college accredited. Our tech school is college accredited. So let's say you join the United States Navy and somebody else joins the Air Force and you go become digital imagery, medical imagery CAT scans, MRIs, X-rays. You go to the same school in California. It's a 9-month school. But when you come out, the Air Force member or Space Force member would just lack their generals from having a bachelor's degree in 9 months. The person in the Navy got all that training, but there's no college credit associated with it. All right?
Now you sound like an Air Force recruiter.
Well, and I am not. And I'll be honest with you, I tell every cadet I work with, you should never, if you decide to choose, God bless you, but less than 10% of Americans ever will. It's not for everybody.
No.
Not everybody should do it. And if you choose to, I get a lot of people say, well, my mom did this, my dad did that, my grandpa did that. Stop. They're not the ones strapping that suit on every day. You have to do what's best for you, and nobody's going to care what branch you join. They will be just as proud of you.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to decide. Each branch, the jobs are similar, the pay's the same. It's the lifestyle is different in each branch. How you live your life day to day and how you do your job day to day, that's the difference. So that's where I tell people, pick that way. If you need certain things to be successful and to feel that way, then join the branch that leans that way. My branch was great for me, but that doesn't mean it's great for you.
Yeah, no, and the thing is that there's truly a bond between all of us, between the Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Marines. We are all brothers, and we all respect one another. We harass each other, but we respect one another.
I tell the cadets daily, I say, we mess with each other on site. If I see, I get recruiters that come into the classroom, and we will pick at each other. And they're like, well, you don't like I go, no, we can pick. We can go back and forth. But if you pick at us, you're going to get all of us.
That's it, yeah.
So
I agree 100% because that's how I feel about it.
Right.
I mean, I have a lot of friends of mine who served in the Marines and the Army, what have you. We tease each other, but if you're not a veteran or active military, you better not say anything.
Right.
Because it's not your place. But anyway, we'll get past that.
Yes, sir.
So you joined the Air Force what year?
1987, September 8th.
And how many years you do?
24.
24, wow. Usually a lot of people get out at 20. Why did you go 24? Just wanted to?
Loved what I was doing.
Yeah.
Loved what I was doing. Loved the job. Loved the unit I was in. The area was nice. The only reason I got out was 11 combat deployments was enough, and I was up for another one, Afghanistan or Pakistan. And there's only so much dirt you can eat, and there's 6-month deployments in the desert. And I was like, I'm done.
So tell us, where did you go? You said your first deployment was where? You remember?
The very first deployment was Desert Storm.
Desert Storm, yeah.
Right, yeah. Actually, I was a backfill. I wasn't supposed to go. I was at Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix, Arizona. That's my first base. And we had gotten the brand new, at that time, F-15E models. The first Eagle that was for ground strike. And Seymour Johnson was the second base in the Carolinas, and they were going over. They were operational. So what was happening was their people were moving over to Dhahran, and we were going over to Seymour Johnson to put the war packages in their jets and send them over. When we were done with that, half of us got on a plane to go back to Arizona. The other half ended up on a plane going to support them over there. And we got off the plane at Dhahran, didn't even get unpacked, turned around, got right back on, and headed over to Al's garage, Al Karj, and ended up spending Desert Storm there. And I didn't spend a lot of time there. As a backfill guy, it was a month, and then back. But that was my first action.
First of 11 deployments.
That was the first.
So all these deployments after you. So where else did you go?
Oh, I've been to Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Qatar. I mean, if it's dirty Afghanistan pad, I've had a spoonful of that dirt.
Yeah.
It was never the fun stuff. When my daughter joined the Air Force Reserves, and she got offered a chance to you can go to California, Spain, or London. I was like, when do I get these you know,
We were just talking
Yeah.
about with the guest I
Yeah.
had just before you. You know, we talked about when we got through with our basic training
Right.
and our tech school, and then your choices.
right.
My choices were Monarch, North Dakota, or Thule, Greenland.
Holy.
And I'm going,
Yeah.
nah, you know. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's enough about me. But so you never got any of those
No,
nice ones. Your daughter got, where'd she go?
she chose, and I don't know why, but she chose to go to California. She was born in England when I was stationed there. She could have gone to London, but she didn't. She ended up choosing the California because it was a shorter deployment working with the Army. And I was like, you should have gone to Spain.
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
Spend the
You
summer
got a
at the
chance
beach
to
in
see
Spain.
the world, see
yeah.
it, yeah.
Get up and go. So
So
but-
have a daughter, you have a son or anything? Or
I've got 2 daughters, 2 sons.
And one serving?
One, she's now out of the reserve. She's recently married. She's been married for about a little over a year now. My other daughter lives in Indiana with her, and they both work up there, got good jobs. My 2 sons followed me down here. My oldest son works IT for the healthcare villages system, and is currently in the process to commission as a lieutenant in the Air Force.
All right.
In intelligence. He's got a degree from Purdue University in computer science. And my younger son is currently in college. He graduated high school last year, so he still hasn't decided what he wants to major in. But he wants to join the Florida Air National Guard, which, I'll support you. So
Oh, yeah.
that's his plan. So yeah, I'm lucky. Got 4 great kids. All of them made it through college. I don't know where they got the smarts, but they did, and I got the one that's in. So I'm pretty lucky guy.
Yeah, you are. I mean, and we're lucky in this country to have young people like that, willing to serve. And tell them I said I wish them the best
Yeah.
and thank them for their service.
They do well.
But so you had all these deployments that were
Right.
they weren't postcard type deployments.
No, I didn't get the fun ones.
You didn't get the fun ones.
No.
So, but you got out, and when you got out, what did you decide to do?
While I was still all right, before I joined, when I was in high school, I was in Air Force Jr. ROTC in Warner Robins High School, Georgia Unit 65. I was under Colonel Mike Penley and Master Sergeant Chuck Davis. And it made basic training so much easier. I walked in knowing how to wear the uniform, how to march, what the rank structure looked like, what was expected, and man, that made training easier.
Yeah.
So I left ROTC, and as I got older, had kids in the Air Force, my daughters decided to join ROTC. And I was telling them, I said, you don't have to do that. They're like, no, I want to do it. Both of them state championships on drill teams, national championship competitions, and they did really well. And I was, of course, a booster club parent. Want to be there to support your kids
Obviously.
and be involved, so I would go on their competition trips and what have you. And then as I was coming up to the point of considering retirement, like, what am I going to do on the outside? There were jobs to make more money, clearly. But I was like, ROTC got me here. It's done great things for my kids. Let's look into it. And I can tell you right now, as of yesterday, there are 261 openings for ROTC instructors in America right now.
Wow.
Okay. We have units needing instructors. And I can tell you, it's one of the best jobs you'll ever have. It's a great job. If you pick the right school and the school supports you, this is my 3rd school teaching here. If you get to the right school and they support you, it is a golden assignment. And you will enjoy every day.
Yeah, it's got to be a really fulfilling thing to watch these young people mature and go on and know that you were there for them. But you say there's 200 and some.
261 as of yesterday.
Now, how does one become an instructor? You must be like a major,
Well,
career military.
all right. When I first started teaching in 2011, you needed to have enlisted guy, needed to be a tech sergeant or above for Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
You needed to have an associate's degree or higher, and then get recommendations and interviews and background checks. Is a large process, and then you have to go get certified to teach. Now it's upped. Well, it moved up to where they wanted master sergeant and above. Now you can be a tech sergeant in the Guard or Reserve and do your part-time and your full-time job will be teaching ROTC. All right? And then for an officer, they want majors or above, but you can be a captain now, wavered down, Guard or Reserve, and come up and do that as your full-time teaching position. So most units, every unit requires one officer, one enlisted, and then as you move up over 150, then you add a position, 250 adds another for a number of students. So first school I was in, we had 4 instructors. It moved down to 3. Second school I was in was 2. And at this unit here at Leesburg, we are hoping next year to start hiring for our 3rd position.
Well, I know what you guys do there, and you do a great job. Do you have a drill team?
Well, when I first got here, we did not. The school had
Years ago, I know they did.
They had a great national championship drill team.
Yeah.
But when I got here, it didn't.
Yeah.
But we finally have enough kids interested in practicing that we have started the drill team. And they've started learning their first routine this week. So
when they get up to speed, you let me
Right.
know. I'd love to film it.
Their first routine will be at the end of this month. There's a telethon to go raise funds to improve the auditorium at Leesburg, and they're gonna do a short routine there. It's nothing that's gonna win any major awards, but it's the first thing out the chalks. It's a start, and it's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So we're starting that.
Wow. Yeah, I did. I was a good friend of the old instructor there.
I've met a couple of them.
Yeah, who'd you meet?
I met Chief.
Chief. That Chief is the one I know.
Right, and
He was still helping out a little while ago.
Right. I met him last year. He
Chief
stopped by
Dixon.
the school last year. We talked for a while. And then there's Master Sergeant Morris, Craig Morris.
I didn't know him that well, but I do remember seeing him.
Yeah, funny story about Master Sergeant Morris. When you go to become certified to teach junior ROTC, you have to attend in residence a 2-week school in Alabama, Maxwell Air Force Base. So when I went, they break all the groups up into flights and small groups. The instructor leading my flight was Master Sergeant Morris. And then we move ahead, 10, 12 years later, I'm the guy who takes his place at his school.
Yeah.
So when I walked into the school, I said, yeah, I know you, and had to, remind him, say, yeah, you were in my flight. Yes, I was. So he certified me, and I ended up taking over his seat.
Yeah. Where did he go? He retired?
He's retired.
Yeah.
He's retired out here in the villages. He plays a lot of golf
Good for him.
and has earned it.
Yeah.
He taught for over 20 years at Leesburg. So did 20 years in the military and then taught for another 20 at Leesburg.
Wow. That's a lot of service,
It is.
Excellent
guy.
So when you work with the students during the school year, what
Right.
happens when the school year is over? You get a couple of months off?
Oh, I wish.
No?
Okay, so school ends, graduation is on the 20th. The 27th is the last day for everybody else. All right, the 29th will be here doing your
Yes.
ceremony. The 30th, we start cadet leadership school at the Warren Willis camp, and that's a full week where we are up at 5 and down at 10, and
Just
we
like the
keep 'em-
military.
we sound reveille, and they come out, and we raise the flag, and it's just like that. It's a full day of events, and we put them in their cots, and so it'll be a week of that. We come out of that. I have been requested to go teach JIC this year, the instructor course. So that's a July thing I'll be doing there. In between there, we also have what we call pre-flight. Kids that are in the 8th grade that are looking to come into ROTC. We spend a week getting them familiarized with school before school even starts, and getting them into the ROTC program, get them issued uniforms and PT gear. And we do everything. Summer, there are parades, there are events like yours. The Major and I work all of that through the summer.
Oh, good.
So,
I've got one other question
Sure.
for you. You know, I have had a couple of other people on the show, and when they talk about flight simulators,
Yes.
courses like that. Does Leesburg offer that? You know, would you have a flight simulator or no? Or do you allow the kids to go to another school?
as of yesterday, we had 13 new flight simulators installed in our rooms.
All right.
We also have one that got installed last year that's a big full, wraparound screen.
Yeah.
We also have a course offered by us where you can come and take that through Embry-Riddle and get your FAA certification, and get college credit while you're attending ROTC. So that's a 1-year course. You have to be an experienced ROTC cadet to do it. It's not a first-year thing. But then once they do it, if they decide they want to learn about aviation, they can come in and we actually get their ground certification for them. They take the FAA tests.
Yeah, because
And get college
I
credit.
talked to the guy who's doing it over in Eustis.
Right.
And I know that he told me how they had it. And then I
Yes.
hear South Lake has them.
And
I was
now we're
wondering if-
doing it.
Now you have it too.
Yes, now we have
Yeah.
it.
So, do you ever take in an old Air Force guy and let him try the simulator?
Anytime, you're welcome to come over and we'll let you do it.
That's going to be a salute show.
Yeah, absolutely. You can come over. We'll put you in the pilot seat and let you fly it around. And we'll even let you select the aircraft.
Wow. Wow. I've been on a few, but I've been in the belly of the plane, you know what I mean?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I do.
But, okay, well, you got a deal there. And, well, I'm glad to see what you're doing, and it's really great, because I believe that that's what Salute is about. We're trying to reach the young people too, and
Right.
honor our veterans, and educate.
Right.
So I'm glad you came on, and I really love what you guys are doing. I'd just like to hear about some of your assignments. What was your best, you consider your best, assignment, your deployment,
Right.
and your worst? Your worst, you probably, because everybody says Air Force people sleep in nice hotel rooms and everything.
And there have been times
Yeah.
that and the Air Force does treat you very well. I did have a story where I had a Marine major was working with us, was assigned to us for 2 years, and I went to pick him up at the airport. And on the way back, I needed to stop by my base quarters to pick something up. And as we pulled up, he goes, "What are you doing in senior officers' quarters?" I said, "No, this is senior enlisted quarters for us." He's like, I don't have a house near that good on. And I go, "Welcome to the Air Force, Major." It's we do have
It's all about
a good quality
choices.
of life. On the other hand, my best assignment was the 3 years in Germany. I was at a place called Memmingen Air Base, the base where they launched the first jet fighter. There was 125 Americans assigned, 82 of which were cops, 8 maintainers doing missions for NATO. Great assignment. I loved it. I loved traveling Europe, seeing everything in Germany. Did a couple TDYs out of there. I got to see Belgium and Italy, and we went to Amsterdam, like you said you were going.
Yeah.
Got to see a lot there. I did have a tour to England that I did. I did 15 days less than 1 year at RAF Bentwaters in England, right before they closed it down. I worked A-10s out of there. That was some of the best, because I didn't work with it was not an American air base overseas. It was a German air base. So I lived in their culture, lived with them, ate with them, shopped with them. Really, you have to immerse yourself in that culture. And that was a great learning experience. Very fun. It keeps you thinking the whole time. I love doing that. The worst assignment I had was Osan Air Base, Korea.
Really?
Yeah. And primarily because I had to leave my family for a year.
Oh, yeah.
And that just makes, from the moment I got the orders, I was angry. I did not want to leave my family, never have wanted to leave my family. So when I hit the ground, it became important to me to know why I was there. So I traveled up to the DMZ so I could put eyes on the enemy. I needed to see them. Why are you pulling me away from my family? So I went up to the DMZ, and I did the whole tour, and I was standing feet away from the North Koreans, and I learned about what they've done and what the reason we're there. So, I understood it. Didn't like it, but I understood it, and I did my year.
Well, it's always hard if you're going to have to leave the family.
Right.
But I know several Korean veterans, and they didn't have it easy. My good friend Tom Teal, he's a Korean veteran, was a Korean veteran. He's with the Lord now, and he told me stories about what he went through, and some of the others. A lot of it's on our YouTube. But I met a guy named Eddie Ko.
Okay.
He was a spy for us.
Mm-hmm.
And his story was he had a dog, and the dog had fur that looked like the shape of Korea.
Right.
And the communists were taking over, and his mother was a school teacher. They got rid of those kind of people. You know?
Yeah.
And they took his dog, and they made a pallets full of fur. And he noticed that one of these pallets was his dog's fur.
Right.
So he chopped them all up.
Yeah.
And then his parents found out he did it, and they sent him away because, they knew it was going to be repercussions.
Right.
But anyway, eventually he became an orphan.
Mm-hmm.
And he became a child spy. And he'd go into the enemy's camps and say, "Oh, you got a lot of guns here, huh?
Right.
How many guys you got here?
Mm-hmm.
Where you go next?" And he'd go back and he'd tell the Americans. Right. And he was a big part of stopping the soldiers from going over to, because the Chinese were waiting for him.
Right.
An ambush. And they backed off because he gave them the information. And he was quite the man, Eddie Ko. And later on, he got adopted by a United States Marine.
Right.
Joined the Army, came back, and fought in our Army. So
I get a lot of people ask me, do I have to be an American citizen to join the United States military? No, you don't. You can do one enlistment, and you're expected to gain your citizenship through that first enlistment. If you don't, then you have to get out. But a lot of people don't know that. You can come here.
In my personal opinion,
Right.
if I sign on the bottom line to fight for this country,
Right.
and I do it faithfully for a year, whatever,
Right.
I should be a citizen. It should be automatic.
I like the thought process where they tell you, if you really want to be an American, all you got to do is serve your country, and that proves it.
Well, Sarge, it's been a pleasure and an honor. I'm glad to have met you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again. But it's time to say goodbye.
Well, I appreciate the invitation out, and you're always welcome.
Okay, but we got to look at that camera right there.
Yes, sir.
You ready? I know you saw how I did it with the other guy.
Absolutely.
So let's look sharp.
Can do.
Okay. So all our veterans out there, our active military and their families, we salute you for all you do. Till next time.